Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you are doing well. In today's video, we are making some tomato stew for our jollof rice, and I'm making it in bulk so we can store some in the freezer. My name is Gifty. If you're new here, a warm and pleasant welcome to you. Let's dive right in. To begin, I'll add in 2 large sliced onions into the heated oil, and I'll add a little bit of salt to this, and this will help to draw out the moisture faster. Okay, so I'll give this a stir and I'll allow it to fry until it begins to caramelize. And whilst that is going, we'll go ahead and blend our ingredients. So I have 1 large onion, and when making your tomato stew you really want to add a lot of onions to it because it will really add a lot of flavor to your stew and make it very delicious. So I added 1 bell pepper. I'm using green bell pepper. You can use any color that you wish. And next I'll go in with my spices. So I have some coriander seeds, allspice, cloves, African nutmeg, fennel seeds, habanero chilies, and I'll also add a sprig of rosemary to this. So I'll transfer it into the blender. Next, I'll add in some fresh ginger, a few cloves of garlic, and I'll add some fresh basil to this. Basil really adds some flavor to your stew. So I'll add some water, then blend this until nice and smooth. Going back to check on the onions, it's beginning to caramelize as you can see. So I'll now add in some of the blended ingredients, and I'm using most of it, not all of it though. So I'll transfer the rest into a bowl, then rinse out the blender and add that bit of moisture into our stew or our onion. Then I will allow this to fry until the moisture evaporates. And this should take about 10 minutes or so depending on how much stew you are making. So going back to check on our stew or our onion mixture, the moisture has evaporated. I'll now go in with some smoked paprika and some curry powder. Then I'll add in 3 bay leaves and give this a stir and allow this to fry for about 30 seconds to a minute. And this really allows the spices, the curry powder and the paprika to really release the oils. Okay, so that is done, and I'll now go in with 1 cup of tomato paste, and it's frozen, so I'll allow this to fry and thaw out for a few minutes, about 10-15 minutes on moderate heat. Okay, so this is frozen tomatoes, so yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time to thaw out. All right, so I'll fry this until it's well done, then we'll move on and add the next ingredients. It's been about 15 minutes, so next I'm going in with some crushed tomatoes, which I cooked down to get most of the moisture out so our stew can fry faster. You can also use fresh tomatoes, just blend it and cook out the water content. All right, so I'll add it in and cover it and allow this to fry. Tomato stew tends to spit a lot, so you want to cover it halfway so the moisture can also evaporate and then your stew will fry faster. So you want to fry your stew on a moderate heat to prevent it from burning, and every now and then you also want to go in to stir it to prevent burning as well. We really want to avoid that. So going back to check on our stew, it's been frying beautifully as you can see, and I added some shrimp powder off camera, so I'll give this a stir. And at this point I'm going to add in some fresh basil. We are nearing the end. I'll also add some salt to taste, and at this point I don't add too much salt because when I'm making the actual whatever I'm using it for, I might add some salt. And I also added some dry rosemary. I love dry rosemary, and some fresh basil towards the end. I'll cover this and allow it to fry for about 10-15 more minutes. And guys, at this point our stew is ready. It smells amazing and looking good. And now you want to go ahead and scoop off the excess oil. Okay, I know a lot of people have concern about the amount of oil we use during the process of frying tomato stew, but trust me, that oil is not to be consumed. Okay, so once you scoop it off, this is what you have. Once it cools off, you can portion it into smaller containers and put it in your freezer for any time you need it. You can use this for your rice and stew, your jollof rice, waakye stew, whatever floats your boat. So whilst the stew was frying, I went ahead to clean up some chicken, which I'm going to use as a source of protein. You may use any type of protein that you like. Into the blender, I'm going to add one medium-sized onion, one green bell pepper, two habaneros, about a small handful of green parsley, a few leaves of basil, about 2 thumb size of fresh ginger, 2 sprigs of rosemary, and I have a tablespoon of fennel seeds, 3 wudiaba or Ghana nutmeg, and for the powders, I have here about a tablespoon of smoked paprika, a tablespoon of curry powder, a heaping tablespoon of garlic powder, some salt to taste. I'll add a little bit of oil to blend all, half of a Maggi tablet, so I have here 5 pounds of chicken leg quarters, and it's very well cleaned. I use the water and vinegar solution. So now you want to season your chicken, and you want to make sure that your chicken is very well dry. So usually I will leave it in the strainer and put it in the fridge for a few hours to drain off any excess liquid. Okay, so now it's very nice and dry, and I added all-purpose seasoning. I used adobo. You may use any all-purpose seasoning of your choice, and I poured some of the marinade over it. Okay, so now we're going to mix it and make sure that everything is well seasoned. Every part of your chicken is very well coated with the seasoning. You want to lift the skin of the chicken and apply some of the marinade over there. You know, if I say a chicken, just look at how juicy it's looking already. I'll transfer it into the pot and I will set this in the fridge. I actually left it in the fridge for 2 days, and guys, this chicken was so delicious. You can do a few hours or overnight. Yeah, so every marinade in the bowl, you want to transfer it onto your chicken, and we'll set this in the fridge. And for the leftovers, I just place it in the ice cube mold and place this in the fridge, and I use it for lazy day jollof rice, for stews, for anything. All right, so 2 days later, this is how our chicken looks, very nice and juicy. I've gone ahead to place it in my baking vessel, and I brought it out 20 minutes prior to baking. You want to do that so your chicken bakes evenly. You don't want to put cold chicken in the oven. And my oven is preheated at 400 degrees, so this goes in the oven for 25 minutes. We'll now go ahead and start our jollof rice. Remember, the stew is already pre-made, okay? So I'll scoop some of the stew into my pot, and I will cover this and allow it to come to temperature whilst I go ahead and wash the rice. I'm using jasmine rice here. It's already washed, so I'm putting some into the stew, and I will mix this thoroughly until every grain of rice is well mixed into the stew. You want it to be nice and flavorful and delicious, all right? So I'll mix it until everything is well incorporated, just like so. And it looks like I needed a little bit more stew, so I added some more stew to the rice, and I'll mix it and allow this to toast for about 10 minutes on low heat. Then we'll go ahead and add our water. If you have stock, you may also use some stock to do this. So I have here some boiled hot water, so I'll add that, and this will help to speed up our cooking process. I'll mix it in and also add taste for my seasonings and whatnot. So I'm adding a little bit more of the hot water. I tasted it. I need some more seasoning, so I'll add some salt and some adobo to this, and I'll give this a mix, then taste to ensure that my seasoning is okay. So I tasted it and it's perfect. I'll now cover this and allow it to steam cook for about 15 minutes on medium-low heat for most of the water to evaporate. Okay, so this is what it looks like about 15 minutes later. So I'll just turn this to ensure that the bottom doesn't burn, then cover it and allow the moisture to finish drying up. Now checking on the chicken, it's been about 25 minutes and this is what it looks like. So I'll flip it over and allow the other side to grill as well. I'm using the roast setting on my oven and I'll allow that side to go as well for about 20 minutes. Alright, so our moisture or the water has dried up, so I'll now cover it with a parchment paper. No need to stir it because I stirred it earlier on. So I'll allow it to cook on low heat until this is almost cooked through, and I'm going to add some vegetables. So it's now cooked and I'm going to check up on it, and you can choose to add the condensation from the steam. Okay, you can choose to add it into your rice. All right, so now we'll give this a stir, we'll fluff it up, and I tend to use a fork for this so the grains of the rice does not break up. All right, so we'll cover it and allow it to continue steaming. And coming back to check on the chicken, the other side is nicely roasted or grilled, so I'll flip it over and allow the skin to go for about 10 more minutes, okay, so it can get a bit crispy. Now the roast setting tends to do that, but if you don't have it, you can also use the grill, okay, the grill setting on your oven. And we'll check back on our rice. It's almost done, and I like to have the green peas looking green, hence I'm adding it in at this point. All right, so now it's rinsed and I just added it in. So now I'll just mix it until it's well incorporated into the rice, and I'll cover it on low heat and allow this to steam for about 10 minutes thereabouts, and our food is almost ready, guys. It smells amazing. I gave it a taste and it tastes incredible. And Kasa, you ought to be here to taste it. Why? And at this point, our jollof rice is ready. For my finishing touches, I like to add about 3 tablespoons of coconut oil just for some shine and flavor as well. You may also use some butter, which is also nice. So I'll give it one last fluff. And guys, it is ready. We'll turn off the heat. Our chicken is also ready. So we'll serve ourselves some and enjoy. This is our end product. It looks amazing, smells incredible. So let's give it a taste. And the jollof rice tastes amazing. Perfectly cooked, perfectly seasoned. Everything is on point. And now we'll give a taste to the chicken. The chicken is absolutely delicious, guys. This is one of the best chicken seasonings or marinades you come across. Give it a try this holiday season. Very well baked. Literally falls off the bone, as you can see. Oh, perfectly seasoned. Okay, and that is it for today. This was absolutely delicious. Once you have your stew already made, this goes by very, very quickly and simple. That is it for today. I really hope you give this recipe a try. Also, like and share with your family and friends. Thank you so much for doing this with me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your family and friends. And until we meet again, stay blessed, stay out of trouble, and be well. See you in my next one. Bye, y'all.